Hello, fellow watchers and enjoyers. It is I, Piggy, and I am joined by Big Ash.
Hello.
Got a haircut as well. Look at that. Having a beer as well. Nothing like it. Some say he had a haircut while having a beer. So who knows?
I was about 3 beers deep when I decided to get the haircut, but that's besides the point, to be honest.
Hello, sir or madam. What haircut would you like? Potato. Huh? Okay. Steven Gerrard. Okay, he's just saying celebrities. But it's episode 5, and today's episodes are going to cover the biggest storylines that place from week 5 of 1985. All the episodes from the 19th of the 3rd to the 21st of the 3rd. Can you believe it? We're a week in. Now, also, if you remember, we're slightly ahead of schedule, but if you're a poor normie person, don't mean to do that, but if you...
Yeah, true. The next podcast doesn't come out to what, like this Thursday? So what, the 13th? The 12th?
This
Yeah, the 12th.
The one we're filming right now doesn't come out till the 19th.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're ahead of schedule.
Exactly.
Who
done it could never. Who done it could never. Hey, to be fair, right now it's the most successful podcast we do on the channel. It's the only podcast we do that actually gets engagement. So it's just further in my agenda to cancel all the podcasts. Walker. What, that means I don't have to watch the EastEnders weekly? Ah, bloody hell.
Nah, you still do. We're still doing the live watch along and stuff. You're certainly here. But it's going to be like Leon Kennedy and Resident Evil. We're just going to keep wheeling you out eventually for all the sequels. That's what we're going to do.
I am the talent after all.
He is. He's the Ocho. I believe that's what Chris Jericho called himself. But yeah, so we're a month in. Ahead of schedule if you're a member. If you're not a member, we're not. Obviously, reactions should be out as well by this time. We film this every Monday, by the way, if you're wondering. So yeah, it's filmed.
Yeah, when we were talking about when we were going to do the schedules for this, it's like, yeah, let's do it loosely. You know, we don't need to force it. We want to do it when the occasion permits every Monday.
Yeah, because usually we only have to record 3 videos, so we usually just fill in the time by doing technically 5. Well, it's 4, but 5 if you remember. So yeah.
5, 6, 7, 8.
So yeah,
I definitely don't miss the days where we had to record like 6 videos in one though. That's always a miserable experience. And what does Reddit say this time? I fucking hate all these new characters. Yeah, good one, Reddit. Do you want to play fetch now?
But what are the topics, Piggy? Well, thank you, Luke the Ultimate Hoovian, for asking, even though you're not actually asking. So we've the intro, which is what I'm doing right now. We've Den's cheating. He's just cheating in darts. He's playing bullseye and he's cheating. You know, he's
counting cards in poker.
Yeah.
The old classic.
Yeah. Which, side note, bullseye is great, but Jim Bowen is definitely a racist. The guy who did bullseye.
I've never watched a lick of bullseye.
There's just I just love Jim Bowen because he's not weird, but he's just a dirty old fucker. It's how I can describe him, because he just, yeah. Like I remember one clip where he just got up to him going, "Good girl."
He makes bad men choices again.
He just goes up to one woman and goes, "Good girl," I believe. Obviously not as bad as Michael Barrymore, who someone died in his pool. But anyways.
Denial is a river.
Anyways, continuing on. Then we have the attacks, because I can't put racism in it, or racist attacks, because YouTube might put us in the gulag if I somewhat put racist in it, because all the MAGA influencers might attack us because it's their beliefs, and they might get mad at us for attacking their beliefs. And then we have Mary the Pimp, which, yes, I like it when you call me Big Papa. Throw your hands in the air. You're a true player. Yeah, that's all I gotta say, and we will get to it when we get to it. But first, we're going to Den. Den is a bad boy. You know this. We all know this. He has some consensual sex with his mistress Jen, or Jan. I keep calling her Jan, but I think it is Jen.
No, it's Jan. It is Jan.
I don't know. Just the way I say it, it sounds like January.
Jan!
Start doing fucking a man from
John!
Heavy. Yeah, Heavy, right?
John! Jason!
Yeah, it's Jason.
One of them. I don't even remember which one it is.
It's Jason.
But Sean's the one that's most memorable because it's easier to say.
If you haven't played Heavy Rain, I do recommend people play it.
Mate, Heavy Rain's a fucking relic at this point.
it is.
But when will we see the Heavy Rain playthrough? Multimedia Maniac.
So Dan, he's cheating. He's cheating is all Dan. And I'm not talking about in poker.
Also, I still can't take it seriously. Anytime you like move and I see Albert Einstein in sunglasses staring at me, like something's gone too far.
There you go, for people who can't. There you go.
His mustache is impeccable.
I like this shirt. Oh jeez, I got it for like £5.
No, it's a designer shirt, only made for Piggy.
Custom made. I'm like it, but it like.
I can't wait for Piggy to get the first sponsorship of the channel. It's just some fucking shit, some shit Hawaiian shirts.
Honestly, I would take the promotion. It'd be better than those YouTubers who promote.
I'm taking that money though. I'm getting my cut. I'll wear some shit Hawaiian shirts for money.
4XL, please. Okay, I'll redo the topic so people actually, in case people actually do care about Dan. Actually do care about this.
We've been reading Luke's comments and he's only giving us $5 a week. It's easy.
But yes, Dan.
I'll sell out for anyone.
Dan. So Dan has a mistress called Jan. Jan. There you go. Do the old Heavy Rain again. And with this mistress, it really upsets Angie. Well, I would assume it'd upset you if your partner is cheating on you, and then every time you call them out for it, they go, "No, I'm not. You're cheating on me."
Actually, he does gaslight her, and definitely, it's a weird thing with Den because obviously when they had the Chrissy Watts story in 2024, you realise that Den is all the things that he's kind of touted to be, right? Where he is a gaslighter and he does just cheat on his partners without any real care for the world. So you do realise that, Den is actually all the bad things people say he is. It's just, usually it's like, that Den Watts, he's such a rascal. Does have affairs with young women and fucking does not care about his kids. So, yeah. What a role model. I don't know. I
mean, he's a very...
you do realise that, Den isn't... It's a weird thing where I feel like, obviously, and this is some weird revisionist history, if the sex scandal hadn't happened, I do feel like Den Watts would be thought of a lot more favourably than he is now.
But it is, and again, I don't want to hark on, because I know we've probably harked on it before about Leslie Grantham's real-life issues. And let's just call them issues. I know they're not issues, they're actually horrible crimes that he did. But it is mental to me. It is... And of course, the alleged stuff that happens in the 2010s. I don't know much about it, allegedly. But it is mental to me that a murder, that's fair enough. But it's the fact the sex scandal is the one that done him in, which will never not be funny to me. It's the sex scandal, not the murder, the sex scandal. That's what done him in. But yes, it is weird because I feel like when people look back at when writers... So, say when they're doing a shine, I'm turning into Sean Connery, but when they're doing a scene with Sharon in 2026, I'd assume how they write Den is they sort of just write Leslie Grantham and just kind of put Den Watts in it, if that sort of makes sense to people, because they sort of merge, like, when he returns in 03. Like, in 85 to 89, he's a bad boy, he's a cheater, but he's not as bad. It's just when he later returns, they're like, sex pest. Sex pest. It's like, okay, he is a sex pest. But yes, so he and this would inevitably hurt your feelings. Well, I would assume it would hurt your feelings if a partner you've been with for 17 years is cheating on you, and you know he's cheating on you, but every time he confronts you, he just goes, got your nose. Oh, thanks.
I mean, to be fair, some marriages are just better off not knowing. You know what I mean? Some people just go, just don't tell me. Just don't tell me. It doesn't matter. But obviously not in Angie's case, where Angie it's such a sad way, right? Where Angie is she's so desperately afraid, but knows the truth, but kind of refuses to accept it or process it. Where she knows that Den is consistently being an arsehole and cheating on her, but fundamentally she always believes in the good. But like Den's not inherently good either, so it just leaves her in a really uncomfortable spot where she just spirals, right? Because in last week's episodes, we saw her kind of vaguely accept, oh, you go to look for a Bentley. Oh, Bentley, are we? Okay, this is kind of interesting. Maybe that's fine. We always wanted a new car. And as the lie unravels with Pete not being the best liar, she just starts to drink and starts to drink more. And yeah, it is depressing. It really is. Because like, yes, Angie has her problems, but it's kind of thing with like with David Wicks and Carol, right? Where in the end, Carol says, "No, David, I'm sick of your shit. It's not worth it. It's not worth all the punishment. It's not worth all the crime." But Angie never gets to make that. Well, she does make that decision in the end, but she never really gets to make that decision and actually have a happy life because of it. And that's the really sad part about the Angie and Den stuff, where Angie's fucking miserable because she just wants her husband to love her. But her husband has basically already moved on and is doing other shit. So, yeah, it's just really depressing, really. Like, the beer's hitting hard. I'm having an existential crisis.
For our fictional character from 41 years ago. But it is crazy. I can't do it seriously with this shirt. I'm sorry. But Albert really wants to get his opinion.
Get Albert in. Get Albert in. Get the badge in.
Look at that. I'm glad I don't have to talk about fucking modern EastEnders with fucking with Tim. Imagine me trying to talk about serious issues wearing this shirt. I'm sorry. But yeah, continuing on. It is extremely sad, Angie's case, but she doesn't really get a happy ending. She does leave Den, but there could have been more on the cards for her. But had she returned, but she never did, which is extremely sad. I know people will say she returned in 2025. I mean, when she was alive in this show, she never really got that return, which would have been cool. I would have loved to see what she would have done. But yeah, it's extremely sad, and she knows Den is cheating, which I think makes this even more sadder, because you look at it and you go, maybe it's better if you do break up, but you don't want to break up because you ruin your ego, the way you think, the way you look, because the entire premise, if you don't know, of Den's relationship with Angie is an ego to boost, because, he
wants the image, but he doesn't really want the obligation.
I didn't see the glasses until now. Hold on, I gotta join in. But yeah, it's just you really you don't understand. It's just how I'm trying and do this seriously, but you buckled me completely. But yeah, just to understand.
It's the perfect glasses for fucking Einstein, isn't it?
Yeah,
the comparison's uncanny. It's outrageous.
But it is. I don't think I can wear this shirt again, but I will. I also got an African shirt. I'm not part of the right culture to wear that shirt, but I'm fucking wearing it.
You do genuinely feel bad for Angie, because I don't even know how you make it better for her. Is the main thing. I felt like the only answer is to get rid of Den, but she doesn't want to, because she still believes deep down that one day he'll just wake up and love her properly. But he's just never gonna. That's the sad bit, really. He's selfish. He takes his own desires over everybody else. He is a lustful man, and it's just depressing, isn't it? It's really sad. And she really goes spare, because the whole point of these 2 episodes with Angie is the simple fact of she starts digging around with Pete, and Pete's story doesn't entirely corroborate with Den's story, so therefore she starts to ask a bit more questions, and then when she asks the questions, she gets the answers she doesn't want. Because the real answer is she just wants Den to have been out looking for a Bentley. She just wants that to be true, because if it is, maybe she'll feel a little bit better about it. But that's obviously not what happens. Pete's lies unravel. Kathy doesn't really defend it in the way that they would expect. She struggles to really make a compelling argument for it. And yeah, Den doesn't really do anything to dissuade from the suspicion. So Angie just drinks and drinks and drinks, and she doesn't know how to handle it. And it's just sad, really. And like, even then, even the small kind of bits off is we do see Angie start to have a little bit of a flirt with Tony, big Tony C, big carpenter in the house. Which, I mean, to be fair, we all would. That's how it is. Fucking, yeah. Big, beautiful Tony Carpenter. I don't know. I'll put myself in a corner there.
Well, he is called Big T for a reason, isn't he? It's not testosterone.
Look, he is the carpenter.
Yeah, he lays the carpet.
He's just really capable with that wood.
Yeah. Don't know what that noise was, but yeah. I need to pause pretty quickly.
Okay.
And we're back. And what more way to get serious than to talk about racist attacks? Well,
yeah, I guess we did kind of go through all the Angie stuff, but like, my final point about it though is just she unravels, and in the episode she basically says, "Fuck it, Kathy, we're going drinking. Why not? Let's punish the men." And Pete and Den just kind of look at each other like, bloody hell. You know, it's like, oh no, I've messed up now. But like, surely, because Den's been on and off with Jan for years. Surely he's better at covering it, right? But maybe he just doesn't care. He probably just doesn't give a shit that Angie's hurt by it. He just goes.
I mean, I don't want to compare it to this, but it's like when you break a vase multiple times. Like, eventually, your parents are not going to give a shit that you keep breaking the vase or vase, whatever you want to call it. Like, eventually, they're just going to go, he's broken it again. Fuck's sake. Like, maybe that's why he is. Maybe it's just, fuck, he slept with Jan again. Fucking hell. I mean, like, maybe that's what he feels. And obviously, to him, he doesn't care that he's hurting Angie's feelings. But obviously, Angie does care because, like, she wants to love him, but he doesn't love her. It's seriously, if we do end up doing the first 4 years of EastEnders, it will be great to see, sadly, the character evolution, but also the sadness of Angie increase. Because, spoiler, in 86, she does fake having cancer, so, yeah. That's only to get Den to love her, so, who knows?
And he fakes loving her for, like, a solid couple of weeks. Doesn't even do it for that long. Some people would do like a year. Nah, a couple of weeks, maybe like a month or two. Nah.
He buys a box of chocolates, but he eats all the good chocolates and gives her the shit ones.
He's like Sherlock Holmes, him. Nothing's getting past him. Bloody hell. She must be lying about the cancer.
Well, to know a liar, to trick a liar, you got to know how a liar lies. Something like that. A lot of L's.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
Okay, Ash, now it's time to get serious because we're going to talk about racism. Racism isn't good, folks, isn't it? No, it's not good.
But when Nick Cotton does it...
when Nick Cotton does it, it's
Dot Cotton. Dot Cotton. Exclusively, not me. Dot Cotton.
But yes, so to get a bit serious, which I know it's very hard to be serious when you have fucking Albert Einstein with sunglasses, but
I'm 2.5 beers deep as well. I've not eaten anything. It's all straight to the bloodstream.
He's going to start singing Creed by the end of it. Hold me now. I'm a beers deep from the edge, and I'm thinking.
I'm thinking. Hold me now.
Yeah.
Stop it. Stop tempting me.
But yeah, so yeah, the attacks. So Neymar inside, mainly Neymar, goes to open the shop, the Minuteman it's now known as, and she opens it, and someone has basically plastered on the wall, destroyed the entire gaff, and plastered on the wall, go back to your home country. Unacceptable, really.
Stolen a bunch of the cigs as well.
Yeah. And now, I'm not saying like how it'd be easy to identify me if I robbed Smith's because someone stole all the wrestling figures. But if someone has stolen all the cigs, it can only mean one man, Nick Cotton. Like, not
more people smoke cigarettes in Walford than Nick. Dot for a starter. Mate, imagine that heist of the century. Dot's in there with a walker.
I was going to say, like, how the fuck did she rob it? You'd easily spot her.
Dot, Ethel, and Lou. Quick, get in, get in.
Fuck, I have to write this on
Now,
the wall.
Dot.
Go back.
Now, Dot, don't go ahead. Look, you can't put too many in at a time. The weight disparity, you'll be there. Just have to temper it a little bit, Dot. Come on.
Oh, I see.
I've never robbed a liquor store before. Don't know. That's good imagery. That is.
That's a prequel and a half waiting to happen. Fucking Darth Ethel and Lou on the prowl. Fucking get
Bobby one up my nose.
Get fucking Pat in there as well. Go on. Pat sleeps with them to get the way. But anyways, yeah, they've written go back to your own country. And you know what usually racists will say when you're immigrate to another country. Usually that's what racists would say. It's on the bingo card of racism.
Yeah, bingo card of racism. Oh, God. Yeah, it's just standard racist rhetoric, really. Where, because, like, I mean, it's a cool part of Said and Neymar's characters where they were raised in England. They are English. So it's just kind of, and obviously his whole point where, like, racists don't really see it. They don't really understand. Oh, they're raised here, born here, and speak the language, and fucking spent more time here than, say, wherever the fuck they're from. What, like Punjab, maybe? I think that's where they're from. Let's hope it's the right place. But obviously, they've spent their whole life here. They've spent their whole life in the country. So why would they be getting all this abuse? And yeah, it just kind of keeps the story going, right? Where we're telling the story with, Nick having some not so savory beliefs, trying to take Mark Fowler down a slightly dodgy path. And yeah, it starts off with them having, with the kids, with Sharon, Mark, Ian, and Kelvin all realizing, oh, there's been a bunch of stolen shit going on. So Nick's been thieving. He's been thieving. I can't say that word normally. Thieving? There we are.
Thieving.
He's been thieving. He's been having a steal of a bunch of people's tools and stuff and selling them back. Which also, you don't shit where you sleep. You don't sell the tools you've stolen from your area in the same area, you fucking idiot. Like, if I steal someone's prosthetic leg, I'm not going to go up to them and say, bloody hell, I've just found this prosthetic leg. Do you want it? Do you want it? Yeah, it's mine, but like, why the fuck do you have it? I had no reason.
I don't know why. The only comparison I have for this is like when like the racist it tells you to go back to your own country. It's like how I kind of like my area where I go to get my Chinese takeaway is not actually a Chinese, it's an Asian cuisine, but I just call it a Chinese takeaway. It's just easier for me. It's technically an Asian takeaway, but I call it a Chinese takeaway. So.
To be fair, that's how Lou Beale responds when he sees that they've been burgling, they've been burgled. What happened to them Asians? It's like, Lou, you've spoken to both of them. You know where they're from. What's happened to them?
I've nowhere else to put this, but I want to put it here. So you know those cat waving machines? You know the ones where they wave like that. We were in the Chinese yesterday, me and my dad, Big Nye, and he looks at me and he goes, fucking hell, I didn't know they got a portrait of you. I go, what do you mean? Look at the cat, he's like you. Starts rubbing the belly and starts waving.
Not bad.
Like, I can't do anything in that scenario.
Someone's got to keep you in line. Mate, the other day, he messages me saying, fucking hell, I just walked up to the sweet shop he usually go to. Someone egged it, the pricks. And obviously my brain just goes, fat privilege. But the time I walked up there, they've egged it, the selfish bastards. I wanted my sweets. I walk up there, sweating, heavy breathing. Where's my sweets, you bastards?
I looked at the guy. And he came out with a mop bucket, and they just my dad went to him and you closed me. Yeah, someone egged us. I went, oh, fucking hell. Fuck. And then I went to Aldi and I got 2 Nutella chocolate Easter eggs. So.
What do you need 2 of them for?
They were £5 each. I don't know. In case I get hungry, you know.
Bloody hell.
No wonder I'm turning into the cat, the fucking Chinese cat. But yes, they were burgled, and then Lou Beale obviously explains to Neymar, hey, look, don't be a doormat. Actually stand up for yourself. And Neymar's like, fuck yeah, I will. Also, yeah, like you said, Nick Hutton is stealing, but he is also stealing and selling in the same area he's stealing. So it's a bit silly that.
Like if you rob a dealer's entire supply, you don't just take his customers too. Someone's bloody hell, this is just like the weed I get from him. It's like, well, yeah, it is the same one, but just don't think about it. Don't think about it. Maybe there's some loyalty. Not much loyalty with dealers, let's be real. But anyways, but yeah, like I will say, having Lou Beale on your side is a fucking cheat code, because look, she knows when to be a prick, which is 90% of the time. But that 10% of the time where she is genuinely behind you and wants to support you, it's a feeling like nothing else. You know, there's not many people like she would happily like twat the burglars and be like, give that stuff back now. Like, so there's not many people that would genuinely take their time to try and make you feel better about it. So yeah, it's just Lou Beale is, you know, despite her being a little bit racist, she doesn't give a fuck, and she supports Neymar regardless. And yeah, it kind of perpetuates the constant cycle where obviously Saeed bought shit locks for the Minute Martin, and that's why it got burgled. Other than the fact that they are not white, but it's a side bit. But point being, he buys cheap locks. Neymar, like, fucking. I mean, she's crying like she's just found out that her 3 kids have been killed. It's fucking. She is traumatized by the shop being robbed, and therefore kind of needs someone to back her up. And yeah, as that suggests, Lou Beale just essentially goes, "Hey, look. At the end of the day, what can you do?" But essentially, she goes to support her. She goes to support her, and that's a really nice thing. And like I said, if there's anyone, if you want anybody in your corner, you want Lou Beale. She doesn't give a fuck. She will support you no matter what. So genuinely, it's quite heartwarming, and you just love it in a way. You just do love it. Like, and this is why I can never hate Lou Beale. Yeah, sure, 90% of the time she's screaming at you and telling you that you're a useless waste of space, but she is telling Arthur Fowler, so it's not like he's beaten the useless allegations. He's consistently that way anyways. So yeah, it's just how it is in my opinion. Like I love Lou Beale, I love her supporting Neymar. And I like her telling us what our viewers have constantly said, is that Saeed is a useless piece of shit and doesn't do anything. Like, he wasn't even the first to find out about the robbery. He shows up like half cooked, like, well, bloody hell, what's going on? And Ethel's like, you've been robbed. And he's like, bloody hell. Not even supporting his wife.
And to continue on the racist attacks, Ali.
I suppose the one minor bit I do want to talk about though before this is we get to see the first appearances of Debbie and Andy, 2 characters who I can't say they are particularly well received, but for context, Debbie and Andy are the middle class people of Walford. You know, Den Watts is probably happily middle to upper class, but Debbie and Andy, she's a banker, he's a nurse. They have 2 income streams coming in, and they introduce themselves to the square. But Debbie clearly comes from money and is well educated, and it's something of a theme with their relationship that Debbie will constantly not belittle Andy, but essentially is like, yeah, but you could be having a better job. We could make more money though. So like, she is she has ideas about who she wants to be and how she wants to do it, while Andy just kind of wants to get by. Really, like he just wants an easy life, but unfortunately, he's tied down to Debbie. But it's not to say it's a bad thing for her to be ambitious, but I mean, within the first 5 minutes of them being introduced, Debbie helps out Saeed and Neymar with the Minute Martin being robbed, and he goes back home after a night shift and calls Debbie, and he's like, basically, I want to see you, baby. And then within 5 minutes of her getting back, she wakes him up and then complains about him not earning much money. So that kind of sets the pace for Debbie and Andy in this time period, really. The microphone's given out.
Yeah, my microphone's given out. I'm back. Wait, someone messaged me. No. So yeah, what was I going to say? So yeah, to continue on the racist attacks, we have Ali, who's getting back from the cab offices. He's done a lovely shift. He's got his paycheck. He's ready to go home. Bang! Racism. He gets battered, and someone beats him up. So could be Nick, but it could be someone else. It's Nick. It's 100% Nick. It's no one else. It's Nick. I'm locking it in right now that it's Nick Cotton.
Survey says Nick Cotton, probably true.
We go on fucking pointless and we answer that 100%. But now we move on to Mary the Pimp, or as I like to say, I don't
know how he's bucketed himself by mentioning pointless. Yeah, and if that was on pointless, that would be fucking one. Yeah.
Hold on. Oh, fuck it. Come on, exit. I'm just gonna pause this. I like it when you call me Big Papa. Well, the Pimp does at least. If you don't know, Mary's looking for a job. This Pimp.
J.O.B. Ooh.
What'd you say?
Should have started an EastEnders YouTube channel, you fucking idiot.
Sip that fucking point. But yeah, no, she's looking for a job, and she's going around asking places. The laundrette is not taking her on, as Polly needs the shifts.
Mate, I bet Doc Cotton is a politicking piece of shit in the laundrette. Do you want any more jobs? No, we don't. Yeah, but Doc, you do always struggle, and you often call in sick. Look, I've been here for years. I don't know what you want from me. Mate, Doc Cotton's a politicking piece of shit. Nobody's getting a job while she's still employed there.
She's the Shawn Michaels 95 of fucking...
Well, see, the thing about Mary, can you really trust her with your sheets? They're only sheets. Who cares if they go missing? All I'm saying is she's a fucking pervert.
My old man's a Provo.
To be fair, Doc Cotton was a Tory, so... Or June Brown, rather, but, point being...
They blend into one.
Yes.
But yes, continuing on. So yeah, the laundrette's not taking her on. Fucking Dot's back there, Hulk Hoganing her contract. No one's taking her position.
I don't think so.
Imagine she started doing Hulk Hogan promos. Well, brother, the thing is, you're not good enough to work the laundrette. Maybe curtain jerking is the way you should go, but not the laundrette, brother.
To be fair, Mary does sound like someone who would just forget the baby in the washing machine. It's like, oh, fucking hell, turn it off.
Well, at least
that's some horrific imagery, not gonna lie.
Well, the baby be washed at least. So, but yeah, so the laundrette's not taking her on because, like we said, fucking Dot's in there going, no, brother, we can't put her over. We can't put her on the contract. Oh, actually, I know this is a silly research question. How long has Dot actually been working at the laundrette before?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. Too long.
Before, all right. But yeah, so the laundrette's
that chair in the office is a permanent Doc Cotton butt mark or whatever you call it, the imprint. That's how long she's been there.
The fucking wash machine. She knows the wash machine. Wash machine 1, that one's just dodgy. It's got a dodgy ticker. Wash machine 2, that one's slightly broken, so you have to kick it at a slight angle and then it'll work. Wash machine 3, you have to, check it and it'll work. She knows. But yes, so she goes to the cafe. Sue's not taking on anyone. Sue's not employing anyone. Let's be fucking real. Sue would
If I
rather.
needed someone to stir the beans, I'll stir the beans myself.
Sue would rather take on her child than fucking Mary. Let's be real here. The Vic's obviously not taking on anyone, and if we're being real here, if the Vic was taking on anyone, I'm not saying circumstances. Nearly said circumcision. Circumstances would take a play, but then will somehow end up in a punk. So I'm just saying. So this just leaves one man, Nick Cotton.
Well, see, also she gets rejected from working at the Mini Martin, where Saeed he's just a prick. He's just a prick. What, DIY? That's what we all do, don't we, darling? Fucking, you think you can work here? It's like, all right, Saeed, you don't even do any of the work, man. He's busy, like, go on, Neymar, mop the fucking floor, go on, mop the floor, go on. Oh, you missed that spot, Neymar. Starts, like, putting chili powder on the floor. You missed the spot, didn't you? And the name was like, yeah, fine. I'll clean it up. Like, fuck you. Mate, Mario would be a better shop worker than you would, Saeed. That's all I'm saying.
So
just be a silent partner. But then again, Saeed notoriously can't really help himself. He's something of a... He does love a phone call.
But yeah, this just leaves Nick Cotton to slide in. Not really into her DMs, but the old-fashioned way, and goes, "Hey, you want to entertain?" And Mary's like, "Oh yeah, I wouldn't mind being a comedian. I can't sing, I can't dance." And Nick's like, "Don't have to sing, don't have to dance." Mary's like, "Yeah."
Now, just to fully pull the curtain back, obviously this is a moment I remember very vividly. I think I mentioned it either last week in the podcast or last week in the reactions where I went, holy shit, it might be happening soon. So, so Mary goes, yeah, job interview done well. Easy. That wasn't even that hard to convince Nick to help me. And then we see Nick in the car with a man dressed in a massive fuck-off fur coat, some aviator sunglasses, 2 gold chains around his neck, 2 rings on his hands. And you go, I mean, she's hardly stacking shelves, is she? Like, it's fucking mental. And, like, it is sad. It is sad in a way. But it's also fucking hilarious. Like, it's a clear pimp. It's a clear pimp. There's no... Like, even a 4-year-old could go, Mummy, is that a pimp? Yes, it is, son. Yes, it is. Absolutely. Like, but they don't even... He doesn't speak either. He's just seen and you go, oh, shit. This is real. Because, like, and unfortunately, Mary the Punk is the kind of person who does end up getting involved in that sort of shit, really. Like, she's so naive. She doesn't really... As far as I'm aware, maybe I'm wrong, but she was raised as like a fairly religious kid and then wanted to strike out from religion and then got pregnant when she didn't really want to, but then she's not going to get rid of the baby. So that's her life now. So she doesn't really have much street smarts or experience. So she really is fully ready to just go, oh, entertaining. Yeah, I love entertaining. And it's like, what sort of entertaining? One you do without clothes on? Like, I don't know, Chief. I don't know. Both, I love this, but it is also kind of horrific in its own right.
Yeah, I do agree. But yeah, so the job interview takes place with Ethel and... So I don't know why I'm taking this out now. I've had it for 6 months being out there. But the job interview does take place with Ethel and Nick and Mary.
I mean, Ethel's seen some pimps in her time. She probably knows Pat Butcher, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And they basically Nick's like, come on, you ready to be a bitch? And she's like, I'm not a bitch. Well, fuck off.
Fully, he says like, oh, what does a job entail? Oh, a bit of this and that. fucking hell. You know, he's not letting anything away. And Ethel clearly seeing the pimp goes, I'm not letting this happen under my watch. It would be really irresponsible of me. So it's like, oh, what are you going to do? A bit of this and that and the other. So she's just constantly like contradicting whatever Nick says. And finally, in the end, Ethel kind of goes, what, you'll be working the streets? And Mary's like, I'm not working the streets. How dare you? And then Nick's like, fucking bitch. And then leaves. But I don't know. I love this dumb segment. It's just so ridiculous. It's so out of pocket. Like, imagine this happens in current EastEnders. People will be going mad. It's so ridiculous. I love it.
Yeah. And that is the week of EastEnders. It's now time.
Yeah, you have any thoughts on the pimp?
Well, I will get to the thoughts in a second because this is the next segment, Ash. So what is my thought?
I don't know why you're school child in me. Yeah, one moment. Fucking hell.
But the thoughts and awards. I like the pimp. Like I said, I will always reference the Piggy song. I do want him to call me Big Papa. I would generally be a little slut for this pimp. Clip that. I don't care. But like I love.
Yeah, but the worst bit would be seeing what clientele you'd fucking get in. Like, what clients are you attracting? Like, okay.
I've attracted the Saudi Arabian government. What the fuck? But yes, I do like this pimp.
He's just doing it. He's a little bit slow, his old Piggy. Yeah, that's fine.
We do love
Is
that.
he hairy? I don't know.
He can build in the next stadium for WWE. Go on, son.
But, weird. Anyway.
That is, no one is getting that reference, but it is so funny. But yes, I like the pimp. I love the pimp. The fucking pimp is brilliant. I don't like the racist attacks, but again, I do like them in a sense because.
Oh yeah, and obviously, did we actually mention Ali getting attacked at the end of the episode?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, all right, sound. Okay, I'm back.
So yeah, I do like this week. I like the pimp, excluding the excluding my PC and Asher species shitting itself. I did enjoy this week. It was a very good week. Debbie and Andy wanted a bit of rump and pump. They shagged on the sofa.
Rump and pump. It's a rumpy pumpy.
Ah.
Can't be calling it rump and pump.
It's just the name of my two.
A bit of the old rump and pump. By golly.
Don't diss the two dwarfs.
Pumping uglies in this day and age in Thatcher's London. My oh my.
Don't diss the two dwarfs that have
golly,
my
jeepers.
Dwarf rump and pump.
Will they conceive a baby? Find out next week. No.
But yes, I like this week. I can't wait to see more of it. Maybe it's because I'm too fucking high of energy at the moment. But yes, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, it was a fun week. Definitely helped by the sinking beers by the minutes. That was obviously a good fun one. I feel like next week's gonna be stark. Like, this one was a bit shit, wasn't it? No, it wasn't. But obviously the beers are gonna be gone next week. But I'm not. I'm staying. No, it was a good week. Genuinely, it was a fun week. Once again, and I keep saying this before it becomes a fucking soundbite. Still humble, still very down to earth, and genuine issues that real people would face, rather than like, oh, here's a big HIV storyline that's going to get 6 months out of this year. Like, no, I don't think Angie getting up. Well, obviously, Angie getting upset about Den cheating is probably going to exist after the first week or two, and the next time he leaves, she's probably going to cheat on him. But like, fundamentally, just down to earth, just succinct, just it's a gentle prodding. It's nothing too intense. It's nothing too overt, but some cool stuff and some cool depictions. So, but at the end of the day, just fucking the pimp is outrageous. Like, that to me That is what this week is all about. But he doesn't even have any lines. But part of me wants to know what he sounds like, because I just imagine it's funny. You're all right, love. You want to go work on streets for me?
No, I want him to be the complete opposite. I want him to I just want him to sound dumb, is all.
I'm doing a Brummy accent. What? How much more dumb do you want? Sorry, that's some West Midlands on West Midlands violence.
No, sorry. I want him to be posh. I want him to be like a hello, love. You ready to be a prostitute?
Good day, Mary the Punk.
Are you ready to be a prostitute?
You have come with a job proposition.
Do you know who else is going to come? The Mayor of London. He's here right now. Yeah, I want him to be posh. Just like imagine. Oh, good heavens! Taking off your clothes, are you? Good heavens! I don't know why, but yes, it's time for the awards. We have 4 awards here on the show. I hope I held up 4. We have the Julia and Tony Award, the Sue Osman Award, which is most wooden. Julia and Tony, by the way, is the
also used depending on the week.
Yes. Julia and Tony Award, by the way, is the Chris Glenshaw Award on the Modern Podcast. The Sue Osman / Saeed Award is not technically, it is.
You act like people get to the award section on the real podcast. Yeah.
I'd just like to mention anyways.
Silly Billy.
Silly Piggy. But the Sue Osman Award and / Saeed Award is the most wooden, which on the normal podcast is the Anthony Truman Award, formerly known as the Keanu Taylor Award, formerly known as the Steve motherfucking Blackman Award, which is the most wooden.
Ooh,
and then we have underrated. Are you alright, mate?
No, it's just the amount of history you're drubbing through.
That's what I do. I do what I do.
Well,
and then
when I initially came out of my dad's ball sack, I did make it to the egg first. Fucking hell, alright. Don't need that much detail, bloody hell. That's getting clipped out of context.
Then we've underrated and who needs slapping down. Why did I like that?
It was nearly 20 years to the day of that clip. I think.
Oh, fucking hell. Not bad.
Will we still be milking that kitten? Yes.
I don't know his name, but just side note, because it's a slight mention of Ben Mitchell. Former EastEnders actor who played Ben Mitchell is starting an OnlyFans. It's the one with the glasses. They all have glasses. It's the fucking
Joshua Pascoe.
Joshua Pascoe. Yeah, it's him. He's starting an OnlyFans. He's going to sell used underwear and socks as well. Don't know who the fuck's buying that, really, considering his legacy has been tarnished because he's a massive fucking racist. I think he's a racist. I'm going with the racist.
He did have a couple of racist takes.
Yes. But I won't like to see...
Who's buying it? Luke, no.
See, I would...
That is a joke.
I would subscribe to Joshua Pascoe's OnlyFans. The problem is he'll only suck white cocks, not black cocks. I can't, What funny getting out of that? But yeah, continuing on. My Julia and Tony Award, it's simple. I have to give it to the Pimp. He's the most promising. The Pimp is the most promising, and I can't wait to see more of the Pimp. I love the Pimp. I just love him. He's a pimp. Well, what can I say? He's just promising.
Most promising. Honestly, just Lou Sport and Neymar. Honestly, that's the best bit for me about this sort of episodes or if I had to give it to something second, it would just be Angie going, "Oh, you shot at me? Well, fuck you. I'm going out then. See ya. Enjoy around the pub by yourself, you little fucking scrote." And then just leaves. But I think it's just Lou supporting Neymar. Because as much as she is a little bit racist, she doesn't actually care. She's not holding it against them. She will support them if she needs to, and she does, and it's fantastic.
Up next is the Sue Osman Award. Oh, Jesus. The most wooden award. Who am I giving it to? I'm giving it to the racist attacks. They're very wooden. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I'm going to give it to the very standard depiction of a pimp. Which, by the books, by the definition, absolutely. I mean, there were no questions. You have to be really sheltered to not understand what was going on. And Mary is that sheltered. Oh, excuse me, fucking hell. Mary is that sheltered, so it's funny, but it's also quite tragic in the same way.
And the next award is underrated. Again, the Pimp. The Pimp gets it for me.
Mate, the Pimp's getting all the awards. Fuck it, why not? Who cares anymore?
Who's underrated for you?
The Pimp.
Who needs slapping down? The Pimp can't get slapped down.
Yeah, the Pimp does need slapping down.
Mate,
if he gets some of his own medicine, fucking one of them.
But I guess who gets slapped down? Nick Cotton for being racist. Or the racist attacks just get slapped down. Because racism isn't fun unless you're doing it to your mates, then it is. But it's not fun anyways. It's never fun. So yeah.
What is that? Piggy's like YouTube brain just. But it isn't actually fun, is it? And if it was fun, people wouldn't do it. So it's not fun at all. And it's like allegedly, of course.
Allegedly, have I been racist to have I been called alpacas something different all this time? Yes. But that's what I called them when I was a child, okay?
He is just Irish. Just how it is.
If you don't know, I do it mostly as
some manners.
I do it as a bit, but as a child, I never called them alpacas. I called them alpacas, which, I can't really say because,
It's just a funny nickname.
Yeah. So, yeah. But now we're getting serious.
Mate, you couldn't say anything properly. You said fucking Lello for years. And then stupidly decided to choose that as your favourite colour.
Yeah.
What's my favourite colour? Lello. Yeah, fucking hell.
Up next is the members' comments and reactions to week 4. So, yeah. Now, where do I go? I start here. We have 2 from the reactions. By good old Luke. He says, I love the scene with Tony and Kelvin in the lingerie. Also buckled me when Tony asked if Baby Annie is a boy or a girl. Who was wearing pink in the 80s. It's pretty fair to say it's a girl. Yeah, it is.
Look, our base Tony Carpenter, he doesn't assume any genders.
And then he says, it's always great to see you reacting to these classic episodes. I just wish copyright didn't exist.
I mean, to be fair, we probably could get away with putting more of the episodes out there, but I'm not the one who's editing it. So, to be fair, the one thing I did realise, the second you show a clip, you do show a clip for like 1 second minimum. You can show it for a solid 4 or 5 seconds without having to take it off the screen. But it's like, oh, come take a look at this. I'll put it on the screen for about 3 milliseconds. Like, fucking what? What does that fucking say? But teething issues. I'm not editing the thing, so I'm thriving. I have watched them all, though. I have watched them all.
No, you haven't watched them all. Be real.
I have.
Oh, have you?
I have. I've watched them all.
Oh, okay. So you see, I'm secretly slipping them £5 for actually saying you did watch them.
No, I have indeed.
And now we go on to the comments, the members' comments on the 4th episode of the podcast. Obviously, we start strong with SD Cricket Fan, and then obviously, as you know, the other 11 comments are the other 9 comments are by Luke. So, not as a dick, and just saying, just so people are aware, not to be mean. So SD Cricket Fan says, I absolutely love the duo, love the duo that Neymar and Pauline have become. Pauline is like that motherly figure that Neymar is craving, and Neymar is like that young woman who Pauline is nurturing. It's brilliant to see. Also, it's brilliant to see Angie get up on Den, sending him to a male stripper place. Hilarious. Is this?
Oh, SD Cricket Fans watching the wrong episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember these episodes.
I don't remember this. Are we on the same page here?
Yeah, I mean, Luke even in the comments says, although I'm pretty sure that's a few episodes on from where we are in podcast terms.
Yeah,
so
and then
he is a bit far ahead.
Luke says, glad to see your thoughts on this week. I'm also glad to see you picked up on Paulie and Neymar. I think they're a great pair, and it's good to see Neymar getting more to do rather than just being in the store back inside. Although I'm pretty sure that is a few episodes from where we are now in podcast terms. But it's so enjoyable, it's easy to watch ahead. You both get a thumbs up.
Looks like that teacher who just goes, "Oh, you read along? Oh, look, we respect you, we appreciate you, but we're not there yet, son. We're not there."
And we start off with the first comment from Luke. This is the best notification to receive. I wasn't expecting this until tomorrow, so now I have a fun evening with the Watching Walford Classic podcast.
I thought that was you reading the super chat that we got. It's the best notification to receive. Money.
No, I build up to it. I'm sorry to Ash and Piggy for my failure to get the podcast over 2 hours like Piggy asked. I failed. Cheeky monkey and laughing face. I nearly said monkey wrong.
Don't worry, I'm doing it all by myself this time. I'm doing it all by myself.
What, the comments?
No, I just mean getting the podcast over 2 hours. The beers are flowing. I'm in.
Do you know what's funny? Like, people would think that I'm the drunk one in this scenario, but it's fucking you. I'm just not drunk. I'm just full of life.
But I like to imagine I keep my shit together, but you know.
And we get a £5 super chat.
I mean, to be fair, we have been doing this for 2.5 years. Any shit I need to say, I just like, I got it, frame it, perspective it, done it.
And now we have a £5 super chat from Luke the Ultimate Whovian.
Per chat. Sorry.
They say, I just want to say, on reflection, when listening to the guys read my thoughts, I didn't realise I made it sound like I hate the actor who plays Saeed, Andrew Johnson. He's actually a great guy. Sorry, not actually a great guy. He's actually great at what he's asked to do and at portraying the character. I just wanted to clear that up, as I didn't think it would read that way, and that definitely wasn't my intention. Cheeky monkey emoji. So Andrew Johnson, this message is dedicated to giving your portrayal of Saeed.
I'm sure he's reading it. Also, just time to repurpose the fucking Ben Mitchell line of the "What are you going to do to me, Mr. Johnson?" Fucking Saeed's just really defensive of the character. Well, your microphone's cut out. Oh, excuse me. Bloody hell.
The hole. Get in the hole.
One day, Piggy will get a new XLR cable, but not today.
Not today, no.
He has 700 figures to buy before that time.
Shut up. But yes, I do. So, butchered the name.
Shinsuke.
Lukey, the Ultimate Hoovie. Luke, the Ultimate Hoovie in here with a long one here, boys. Strap in, grab a beer. So here we are, and here are my thoughts and talking points on this week's episodes, covered on the edition of the Watching Walford Classic Podcast 7 and 8, respectively.
Bloody hell. He's more organised than us.
Firstly, we have the debut of Kelvin Carpenter. I think I might be in the minority here, so Ash is not going to like this. For me, I don't enjoy Kelvin nearly as much as I enjoyed meeting Tony for the first time.
I'm not the Irishman here.
What's that supposed to mean? I'm only.
You said Ash won't like this, saying during the minority. What the fuck is that supposed to mean?
No, I meant Luke's ultimate comment where they said they don't enjoy Kelvin nearly as much. Not being you to be a racist.
He's calling me a racist.
Has he rapped along the fellas in Paris? Yes, but still, doesn't mean he's a racist. No, but what I meant was when, like, because obviously you like Kelvin, and the fact that, like,
that is true. I do like Kelvin.
Yeah. Just to clarify that,
and I don't have problems with minorities.
I do, however. Like, I love the side note. I will read your comment in a second, Nick, but I do love the ultimate difference where Ash is like, I'm not going to try and be racist. And then you have Piggy. It's like, fuck it, the door's wide open. So yeah, as they say, I don't enjoy Kelvin anywhere near as much as I enjoyed meeting Tony for the first time. I know that as an adult character, I did on post recording, I did. I know that as an adult character, Tony is probably going to have.
Well, is that true?
I know that as an adult character, Tony's probably going to have more focus. I'm looking forward to getting into future episodes and being able to talk about Kelvin in a bit more detail in regard to my enjoyment of the character. But let's just say that if I were ranking the main 1985 characters in a list, Kelvin would be around the lower middle for me. That said, in isolation...
Luke's just providing us more content, really. 1985 characters tier list. It's back. We're in.
In isolation, in these particular episodes, I think he's introduced well, and if not else, he provides Tony with another dynamic that makes him even more likable. Tony seems like a good father, trying to be firm but fair, making sure Kelvin knows what's happening rather than having him lying to him or hiding things. That should make the emotions Kelvin is feeling about his parents' divorce easier to deal with, as he isn't being lied to or given false hope.
I mean, I think the real interesting bit about Tony as such is the fact that he is a man who's clearly faced adversity due to his race and his background and refuses to be... typecast isn't necessarily the word, but he refuses to be viewed as what people may expect him to be. He always likes to try and defeat the expectations because... it's not. I mean, Nick said the comment about the black economy, but Tony is fully, strictly above board and will consistently do everything to do the proper and just thing to try and kind of avoid any of him being pushed as, what the racist narratives would be about Tony. He is by the books, he's honest, he's genuine, and he's just, which ultimately may kind of make Kelvin looked like a bit of a tool in a way, especially in this episode where he buys a dodgy tool from Nick Cotton. Bad move. But fundamentally, Tony knows what he's going up against and is ready and prepared to fight it in the proper way, as opposed to kind of like allowing people to judge him and be like, well, he's, he doesn't let people's like predisposed kind of initial thoughts about him kind of depict who he is. He doesn't fall into a stereotype at all. He's honest, and he continues to be that way. Yeah, sure, he's probably not the best with women. Definitely has a history with women, but fundamentally, he's doing everything to try and essentially set the record straight that he is just a good, honest man, and that people, especially in the 80s, shouldn't fall into those initial slightly judgy, probably slightly racist views of what they imagine Tony to be, because he constantly goes out of his way to prove all of these kind of ill-informed opinions wrong. So yeah, it's Tony. He's a really, honestly, he's a pretty good role model in a way, and it's really important to have this in 85 specifically. So yeah, I think Tony's fantastic.
Yeah. Continuing on. Jesus, there's something in my eye, and it's not my eye. Continuing on, with Ethel, we're going to talk about Ethel now. Ethel is the Beale Fowler's family secret weapon. She's going to destroy the world.
The lethal weapon.
Just get the nunchucks, and I'm not totally sure how she or anyone else really helped in getting Lou to go to Clacton. From the short time we've known these characters so far, I think we can all agree that the only person who can convince Lou to anything is Lou herself. It's perfect shithousery from Lou. She clearly was always going to go to Clacton, but that doesn't mean she wasn't going to make them work for it.
I mean, it's true. It's fully true.
All right.
Like, who gives up a free holiday, first and foremost?
Continuing on, while on the subject of Clacton and Bait for the Perfect Sunday, I think this scene with the whole family together is pretty perfect and really cements the Beale Fowler family dynamic. It is one, if not the best, in this era of the show so far. The way they all come together, pitch in, laugh and have fun, even if only briefly, is really heartwarming. This is especially true with Mark Fowler present, as the majority of time he's on screen, he's quite antagonistic and the problem child. But here he's just part of the family. It's nice to see that iteration of the character having a scene like this. Also love that as the kids are all looking to leave, all the adults are asleep. He asks Ian if he's coming or if he wants to stay with all the wrinklies.
Yeah, I mean, fundamentally, I think the unsung heroes of the early era of EastEnders are the Beals Fowlers. Fundamentally, I think they're just such a they're such a relatable family in their own way. Where I don't know, you feel like they're real. You feel they're real, and as I always kind of maintain, especially with modern EastEnders, it's so hard to get that sort of sense right because, you know, they don't all have the same setting. Like even you look at the houses necessarily, they're all like sandwiched like fucking sardines in a tin. You know, none of them are getting their own room or their own real space. And every house is, and I always kind of talk about this, but every house is done up like it's fucking being, it's done up like it's been done by a set designer in a way, right? It's like, oh, this is really big. There's shit all over the walls. There's chairs everywhere. Like fundamentally, the Beale Fowlers feel real, and they feel like a real family who have, you know, survived the war and gone on to create their own legacy and create their own family, even despite all the trouble. And yes, the money may not have always been coming in because we don't actually know what Albert Fowler was doing necessarily. We don't know how well they were doing outside of the war, but judging how they're all living in the same house, it is that typical household that they all come to rely on each other. And fundamentally, I think that's really important to tell because even nowadays, we don't really get those sorts of families in its own right. Like we get the Taylors, we get the Millers, and I don't remember. And I guess the Slaters kind of verging to being that poorer household who band together to try and do something bigger and better. But fundamentally, it's never really caked in the same way. Yes, the Beals and the Fowlers are struggling because Arthur doesn't have a job, and you know Pete doesn't really chip into the monthly like household kind of economy in a way. But fundamentally, they are just trying to get by, and they're doing it by relying on each other. So, to me, that's something that's honestly quite rare these days, and they don't really like to address it because of, you know, let's say politics then and politics now. But it's something that's kind of really humble and really real, and that's what makes the Beale Fowlers probably the unsung hero of 1985.
Yeah, yeah. Continuing on, Ethel, as usual, is never a disappointment for me. Her managing to convince Lofty to lend her yet another tenner so she can post it off for the Golden Circle, only then to buy a round for Lofty in the pub. It's just a moment of gold. Alongside her humming and singing that it's her lucky day, it's impossible not to love the character. The scenes and moments she's in are always a joyful experience, and I can't wait to get the two dots arrival on the podcast and watch them cause chaos together along with Lou.
Yeah, nice on there, mate. One thing I want to see, because I've never really seen it before. Obviously, we know that Lou Beale doesn't necessarily spend the most time in Walford, like on our screens, because it's a very short couple of years. And as Anna Wing kind of reflected, if she had realised how big EastEnders was going to be, probably would have stayed for a couple more. So I do want to see how Ethel reacts to when the thing happens, because I feel like it'll be quite sad, really, because you know it is Ethel's best friend. And yeah, I mean, in later days, obviously Ethel's best friend is Dot Branning, but fundamentally, or Dot Colton rather, but also fundamentally on the bingo card, it's happening about 7 times this podcast. But all in all, I think it'll be a very sad time to see what happens with Ethel and how she reacts to Lou. But all in all, that's what I'm looking forward to. But equally, I'm not necessarily looking forward to Dot's appearance because Dot on 85 is, I think the term's an acquired taste.
Yeah. So continuing on now, with the progression. of several storylines, such as the Golden Circle, Arthur and Pauline's baby, and whether Lou will accept it, Den and Angie's marriage struggles, and also the continuation of Dr. Legg and Lofty's tension. Dr. Legg is trying to offer advice and guidance to Lofty, but Lofty is giving Dr. Legg the runaround, particularly his rent is concerned.
Round, round, run around, I get around. Ooh.
Thank you.
That's all I got. Sorry.
Dr. Legg is very forgiving and doesn't threaten Lofty for having the rent, but he does politely advise him to get things sorted. I'm sure Dr. Legg knows that many people in his position, like a tenant like Lofty, wouldn't be so lenient, especially as he knows Lofty is working cash in hand at the pub, so he does have some income alongside the benefits he's claiming.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's just a simple matter of fact where you can look at Lofty and you realize that, yes, he is kind of he's not a waster necessarily, but he is someone who he had an initial plan. The plan didn't work out because of his asthma. And now he's just kind of trying to make it work, but also isn't hell bent on making it like a full-time occupation. So he's just kind of in between things, which therefore makes Dr. Legg a little bit more lenient on him. Because he knows that Dr. Legg isn't super. He knows that Lofty isn't doing anything inherently bad, so he feels bad for him and wants him to kind of like sort his life out and do it. So he gives him the right amount of time to feel like he can work past a lot of his current issues.
Yeah. Continue. I keep saying continue on, but I will just say it so people know when I'm
fundamentally. Not my words, the words of Luke the Whovian.
Dr. Legg also presses upon Lofty how careful he has to be with Ethel, as he and the wider community have a responsible to protect members of the community like Ethel from being taken advantage of. Something Dr. Legg has spoken to Lofty about previously. Yeah. Of course, Ethel doesn't mind helping because it fills her days and keeps her busy. While she does have friends in the community, this isn't as the same as having a family of your own, and I think that's something very few people really realize about Ethel. She isn't lonely and isolated in a physical sense, but she is still alone in the world, and when it comes to her flat, with no one but Willie to talk to.
Yeah, but I bet Willie holds mad conversation, like. Look, he's never talked about his conversational skills, but his listening ability is top notch. So I think Ethel is seen and listened to by Willie the Pug. No, I mean, it's very true, right? Where all in all, you can have as many friends as you want, but who's necessarily in your brain at 11 o'clock and at 11 p.m. when you can't sleep and you're thinking about all the shit that went wrong in your life? You know, your thoughts can be quite a lonely place. And I think Ethel kind of finds herself in that position quite regularly. It's why she's so happy to talk to Den and Angie, talk to Lofty, basically talk to anyone. She'll happily talk to anyone who gives her the time of day because, as we've explained, she is lonely and she doesn't have a late husband. And I mean, it's even the sadder reality where obviously Willie is named after her husband, William. So she's named a fucking dog after her late husband. So it is sad. It is particularly sad, but we also kind of, once again, it's relatable, it's real, it's human. Even though she's talking to a fucking dog.
Sorry, much like Mrs. Soka's pussy and Are You Being Served? The fuck am I reading?
Some fucking fan fiction, apparently.
Right.
And he's opened up Wattpad just when he's feeling a bit alone.
Willie the Pug is evidence of her feeling alone in the world after losing her husband 15 years prior to the first episode. What Willie represents to Ethel isn't just a pet and a companion. It's much sadder than that. Willie is both trying to fill the void of her loss of her husband, also represents the child Ethel could never have.
I mean, even in these episodes, she mentions the fact that she never got to have that kid when talking with Mary. And that's something, well, I mean, even kind of like in a slightly sad way, she does blame herself a little bit. She says, "Oh, it wasn't William's fault, so it must have been mine." So she does kind of blame herself for that kid that she never had, that family she never had. But I mean, it's that thing as well, right? Where even kind of shortly, fairly soon, it's where I think it's a guy called Ernie or Arnie, something like that, where I'm butchering the name, of course. I don't actually remember his name, but she finds a bloke who's seemingly willing to put up with. I said put up. Ethel's a gem, and she deserves love. But someone who's willing to kind of be with Ethel and fully take her seriously and want to be like a companion and a partner for Ethel. But once again, the man is allergic to dogs. So it's kind of it's like a Shakespearean tragedy in a way, where it's like, oh, Ethel, I really do like you, but I'm allergic when I'm around your fucking dog. So I'm not saying pick me over the dog, but if you don't pick me, I'm leaving. So it really is kind of that tragic way where, as much as she would love to be loved again properly, she just can't give up Willie, or just can't give up the memory that came before. So yeah.
Yeah. So while she may largely be used as an eccentric and comedic character, just to make sure my microphone is cut out, she is actually very subtly, subtly. Thank you. I don't know why I was stuttering with that word so hard. Subtly layered. It's only when you look deeper that I've lost it. Fucking where is it? Where is it?
It's only when you look deeper.
It's only when you look deeper that you see what lies underneath. Happy and eccentric exterior, a faithful and thoughtful friend who is lonely in her heart, but really trying to fill a void. When you realise that, you truly understand just how well written and complex Ethel as a character, and why she deserves more focus from time to time. So in conclusion, it's better enjoyable week with stories continuing and new characters being introduced. I can honestly say that even though this feels like a slightly quieter week, it's still very strong and satisfying. When the episodes end, you're left wanting to watch on, or at least that's how I always feel.
Well, to be fair, we would feel like that if we didn't have to record the podcast afterwards, and then it's like, all right, 30 minutes of EastEnders, our comments. But no, we do appreciate the comments. Obviously, the joke kind of goes that some of us do try to find a Willie to fill that hole in our heart that doesn't really close up, unfortunately. Not me though. I'm a part of the Alphabet Club, so don't mind me.
Firstly, now for the awards for this week. Firstly, I'm going to give my Julia and Tony award for the most promising to a slightly rogue choice, Dr. Legg, for his contribution to the community and always looking out for his patients, even outside of appointments. Most notably right now with Ethel and Mary, we obviously see this trend continue. I also admire how he deals with Lofty. He's firm but fair and far more understanding than Lofty deserves after avoiding him, giving him the runaround and not leaving the rent money. Lofty's start in the square doesn't paint him in the best light thus far, but nevertheless Dr. Legg is lenient. I also think Dr. Legg is one of those characters who isn't heavily invested in story-wise, but shines by bringing realism and warmth to the community. At this point, his character has been used very well. He's likeable, for me, surprisingly underrated. Now for the Sue and Saeed Award for the most wooden. This week it goes to Ali Osman for his sheepishness, going to the pub and more or less hiding behind Sue as she tries to get him back into the bar. But I must say, I do like how inadvertently sides with Angie in the den, and Angie debate on the bar. Yeah, I butchered that. Sorry about that, but there we go. The most underrated award.
In the end.
What'd you say?
I said you got there in the end.
Yeah, I did. Thank you. The most underrated award this week goes to Arthur for doing well with his temporary job with Tony and still getting flack and judgment, especially from Pete when he finds out Arthur has been gone fishing after finishing work, as Pete wanted to use him to make money while skeeving himself. Finally, the Who Needs Slapping Down award this week goes to two people, Den and Pete. Den for trying to find a way to cheat on Angie, and Pete for enabling him by orchestrating an excuse, helping Den cheat on his wife. When Pete's own wife, Kathy, is best friends with Angie, which puts her in a very difficult situation if questions start being asked.
Honestly, the surprising bit about the Den and Angie kind of twist, or the Den and Pete helping, is the simple fact that Kathy knows, and she obviously cares, but she kind of just doesn't give a fuck. Like, so, oh, bloody hell, what are you gonna say this time? It's like, you're a best friend. You are Angie's best friend, and you're just kind of like, it's clearly not going well anyways. You may as well cheat on your fucking wife. And like, I don't know, it's that weird duality where, yes, it would hurt for Kathy to tell Angie, hey, your husband's cheating on you. Maybe it's a bad thing. But also in the same way, the fact that she just doesn't really bat an eye, I guess just shows how long in the tooth this, like, I mean, Den's been cheating on Angie with Jan for years at this point. So it's just that it just adds that extra little bit of sadness alongside where you just realize that I don't know, at this point, no matter what, it doesn't feel like Angie's ever gonna be happy because it feels like the claws are too far in already where she will always choose Den no matter what, even if he's done something horrendous, she will always choose Den. And even when she finally gets out of Den, she's still pretty deep in the midst of like alcoholism that she just can't choose anyone over herself or the drink. So I don't know. It's just Angie is truly a tragic character, and you do feel bad for her perpetually because none of it's really her fault. Like, her biggest fault is a simple fact that Den never loved her. And that is the stem of all of her issues.
Yeah. And they have a few more comments. And they say, Lou also says, to be fair, the delay in reactions is great. So it makes the wait for each podcast feel much shorter, which is great.
Well, you are the only one.
I do like doing the reactions, though. I do like doing them. They are fun.
Yeah, Piggy always messages me with like, "Oh, the reactions are fucking great." I'm like, "Yeah, all right." Not watching it, and then about 3 days after they're released, I'm like, "Ah, go on, I'll watch it." And obviously, the funny bit from the last one is just like, "Raggy."
Oh, right, she's Raggy, which is.
I think it's a definite fine line. I mean, if we even just talk about it slightly more, it's kind of I feel like at least whilst doing some of the members only stuff, because initially we had the member stuff where we'd release it early, but then not release, then always release it eventually for some people. But I think obviously the reactions are something of an acquired taste. Like a lot of the normal audience only really gets that stuff at Christmas. So fundamentally, it's not really something that a lot of our viewers are really going to love. But I think just doing the members only stuff has kind of made it more fun to even think about doing slightly other shit. Like obviously Piggy joked about doing like Golf It or something like that. And I feel like at least with the members stuff, if people are actually paying for us to continue doing what we do, maybe it's not even a bad thing to just go, here's a fucking stupid video about us playing Golf It or whatever the fuck. I don't know. It's kind of it's a nice little, it's slightly liberating in a way where we go, we do have people that will just support us doing fucking anything. So it's a cool thing. It's a cool thing.
Yeah. But continuing on. Fucking hell, this is another long comment.
Piggy wants to get through all these comments no matter what.
Yeah,
you have anything about any possible members only stuff?
Oh, I would love to do Golf It with you. I wouldn't mind doing some games like with you. Like obviously not like fucking playthroughs because I'm not editing the shit out of playthroughs. But some but jokey games like Golf It or for the Game of Life or the Game of Life 2. Like those jokey games, I've no problem doing in editing because I do find them funny, and I do like the idea of playing Golf It with you because I don't know. I also would love to do Dead by Daylight with you, but I feel like at the same time I would have to invite Flora for that one. But I would love to do Golf It with you. I will lose, but I would love to do it. don't even know if you have the game, but it is a good game.
God, I have golf with your friends, but I don't have golf it specifically.
I think it's only like £5, but I might be wrong. One, if we do a weird gameplay, the one I am doing for Halloween that I will suggest is fucking Phasmophobia, because that will be funny.
Yeah, that would be funny. I do agree.
because if you don't know how I play games, usually there's one serious person in my group, which is Flora, when we play games, with me and Rose and Flora. So when I played Phasmophobia last with Flora and Rose, me and Rose would start I nearly said fucking each other. We wouldn't do that, but we start fucking around with each other, where I'd be like, Rose, there's a ghost! Help me, Rose! Help me! And Flora's like, I think the ghost is like a teacher who was haunted and killed. And it's like, help me, Rose, I'm being haunted by a ghost! And Flora's like, I think the killer is a ghost. I think the ghost is an alien from outer space. I'm being haunted, Rose! Because I love doing that. Dead by Daylight's another one is fun. Because recently, Pugs vs. Zombies, someone who I added on Dead by Daylight, because I do add people if they have funny names. Like, another one is Nan in a Pack, which is a banger name. Another one is Veska's Sex Toy. But Pugs vs. Zombie, I jokingly added him to a party once, after I friended him, of course. And I got him to play, but he invited his mate Orly Pie, not Oral, but I call him Oral. And for some reason, whenever I put up Dead by Daylight and he's on, he invites us now, me and Flora, which is kind of fun. So, yeah. But yeah, I wouldn't mind doing some members only stuff. I wouldn't mind doing, like, jokingly do a bit more like out there content with you for members. We're doing a sex tape, no. So like I wouldn't mind doing like Takeshi's Castle or something jokingly like that. I think it would be fun for members, and I think it would be fun to continue to see what we do. Golf is definitely something I want to do. Golf it would be Golf it would be at the top of my list, but we'd have to find a funny map for golf it. A map that's probably not been used for. But yeah, just what I think, honestly. Like again, since like this if a podcast the only thing available to members, if we do reach the end of 1985, which I really hope we will, but if we do release it if we do reach it by the end of this year, if we actually do go to it, I will, for the members only, do a 1985 tier list for us. The two of us will do a tier list, ranking the characters, and maybe the awards will be a 1985 exclusive, like for the members, because I feel like that would be nice. Obviously, if you don't know, Ash mainly goes to me for doing the like normal content, like the Reddit videos and the podcast, and I show up and I do that. But I orchestrate, in a sense, the members only stuff. I don't want to say orchestrate.
I mean, if we even just take it from when we kind of started doing it in December, it was Piggy just went, we should do a bunch of members only shit. I went, what? Fucking do that for the members? You think people are going to give us money? And then people gave us money. So,
but,
then it immediately went, how do we actually try and actually provide extra content for the people who actually kind of do support us? So, kind of it's a nice little thing that we have, because it feels like I'll make the joke about it being like in football. You call the fans who go the extra mile the ultras, but they always have a bad connotation because they're the ones getting in the fucking fights. They're the ones getting in the weeds and going, yeah, well, fuck you. You don't take it seriously enough. But it is truly kind of. It is very cool that we, despite us being a pretty small channel, let's be real, we still have the people who do go the extra mile and do want to support what we do. So, yeah, I won't lie, I did miss all of what you were talking about, but just generally about all the extra members only stuff. It's just important that we actually kind of provide extra shit for the people who do want to support us directly, and that's the important bit. Did I miss any extra cool stuff that you just dropped that I'm not going to watch this back in here?
No, I was only saying like some games and what I have fake plans for Halloween. I know, like, it's weird to think about Halloween in March, but like, again, I do like the idea of bringing...
It's the Piggy approach.
It is
It's like, oh, Piggy, what plans do you want to have for 2026? I want to release a video on the leap year. Yeah, okay, cool.
But I am thinking about well, of course, I have to talk to you first about it. But I am curious of bringing back, like, we watch a horror movie. Obviously, the one I'm going to pitch for the members is Jason Goes to Space, which...
oh, fuck it, I'm in.
Which I can do at any
Jason
point.
X, an absolute banger.
Like, again, it could be a funny concept for members. We watch shitty horror movies. Like, I would be down to do that. That would be a fun thing for members to do, to have. Anything else I have planned? I don't, but I usually am the person who kind of controls the members only stuff. So that's my kind of sort of area. My sort of area for the channel is covering member stuff, writing scripts, and mainly putting together the Christmas and Halloween, well, Christmas, essentially, Christmas schedule. That's mainly my roles in this channel, if people don't know. So yeah, that's why when, like, the reactions come out, they're usually edited by me. I don't know if the reactions will return.
It's also mostly because I went, I'm not fucking doing it anymore.
But yeah, I do the reactions on my phone.
Yeah,
I do most of that. I don't know if they will return. I don't know if the reactions for Christmas 2026 will return. I will obviously have to wait further down the line for that. I don't know if I'll have the mental capacity to edit 2 episodes of 1985 and then 4 episodes of well, it'd be actually 4 episodes altogether because it'd be 2 each. But I'll figure it out. But yeah, I wouldn't mind, like, doing a horror movie kind of, because I think it would be funny to do shitty horror movies just on the channel. I don't know. I wouldn't mind. But yeah, just what I wanted to say. And yeah, games, if we ever do games, Golfit is definitely up there, and Phasmophobia. Phasmophobia will be funny. So I know you try and be serious, and I'll try and joke with you, and you'll be like, fuck off, leave you alone. But also, it will be funny to see us in VR headset. It's not happening. I'm going to put it out there. No. It's not happening. But it would be so funny to see us in VR headsets doing it. It's not happening. But VR headsets would be funny. I could not do a VR headset, no. But yeah, there you go. There's the thoughts about the members shit and stuff. I do have to work on more.
I've just seen that the recent video of me saying Coronation Street and Emmerdale have no money has been posted on the fucking subreddit again. Why is somebody snitching? Somebody snitched on me to the subreddit.
Well, what's the reactions to it? Are they complaining?
No, not really. Just standard stuff. I'm not getting any abuse, which is always lovely.
But yeah, like there you go. There's a long-winded thing. I'm going to try and continue the reactions for as long as possible for 1985. Hopefully by the end we have a lovely calendar year of all the reactions.
Yeah. I mean, it's just within reason, right? Because yeah, sure, like editing it down is not too much effort, but equally it still is effort. You know, you are still having to edit down the reactions like frequently with some vague schedule in mind. So yeah, I hope people enjoy it fundamentally, and it mostly just comes down to when you just go, I don't want to fucking do it anymore, man.
But it's because if you don't know how I edit it, I basically just download the. I legally acquire the episodes. Let's just say that, and I get the episodes and I get the reactions. And what is usually cut out of the reactions is I hum the theme, or I do the da 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 da. You know.
Yeah, for like syncing it up.
Yeah, which is usually cut out in post. That's what I do to sync it up, and it's slightly out of sync, and I don't show much footage because again, I don't know how wary. Because for some reason, 1995 doesn't get copyrighted, but again, I don't want to put too many clips in, so I don't want the one instance where I put
it's like a fine line. It is a fine line.
Yeah, because I don't want to have an instance where I put a long clip in, and then it's like this has been copyright claimed, and I'm like, fuck you. Like, because again, YouTube is.
Yeah, you mostly managed to avoid it on the EastEnders front.
Yeah, which is why.
It was only when you decided to do a channel where you're gonna do 4 in a bed, where you just played the whole fucking episode. So you went, this won't get claimed.
No, I edited it down. I edited it down, and then I got claimed by the actual B&B. I'll have you know.
Yeah, but that's just some extra level shit. Like at that point, you just go, fair enough.
I edited it down to 11 to 15 minutes, and then I got claimed by the B&B, and I went, you fuckers, fuck you, and never touched it again. But now that person
and then you fell out with the people you start the channel with.
Yeah, and now they're going to watch porn a bit themselves, so glad to see how it works. Oh, excuse me. There we go. Let's start with this. Now we have another long comment here. Fucking prepare yourself, Piggy. Now has become something of a customary thing for me to do in the comments. I thought once again look into the net worth of another character on the square. This week I've chosen none other than Walford GP Dr. Harold Legg. Let's start with Dr. Legg owns in terms of assets. Firstly,
he just calls him Leg.
I do just call him Legg. Dr. Legg owns in terms of assets. Firstly, there's the GP surgery and the building itself. Dr. Legg doesn't own the surgery. He owns the whole of 1 Albert Square, which is split into 3 sections. 1A, the basement, is where Dr. Legg runs his GP surgery, while 1B and 1C are flats he rents out to Ethel Skinner and Lofty Holloway, respectively. As he owns the whole building, that would have had a property value of between 45,000 to 60,000, with an estimated average value of 52,500 in 1985, which today would be the equivalent of roughly 164,000 and £117. Ready in terms of property, Dr. Legg has a strong asset base, but he also owns the home he lives off in the square in Islington, North London, from my research. In 1985, the average house price in Islington was between 40,000 to 55,000. However, as a senior GP, that sort of property he would likely own would be a 3 to 4 bedroom house, meaning it would likely sit around the higher end of the range. For context, the average UK house price at the time was 34,700. So what we know so far,
The pain.
So what we know so far, Dr. Legg owns the building at 1 Albert Square, as well as a house in what already was a affluent area of London. Combining the value of these properties comes to approximately £107,500, which in today's money is roughly £336,050.
Inflation.
However, that isn't the full picture.
That's just how much it takes to rent someplace in London at this point in time.
You want a 1-bedroom flat in London? That's the price, 336,000.
1.4k. It's like, what?
I do. I'm not going to mention his name, but I do love that one person we used to know who lived in London, and then he'd complain about the rent, and it's like, you live in London. You live in fucking London. Like, because if you don't know, if you are Irish and are a bit confused, it'll be like me going, "Oh, why is rent so dear?"
Why are the prices in fucking Dublin just fucking high?
Or if you're an American and you're confused, why is rent so high? You live in New York. You live in fucking New York. Like, because obviously the further you move away from your area, like London, if you move down north, it's going to be a bit cheaper than say.
I mean, I always make the joke that one of these days I'm just going to move to the fucking boonies in Wales and just never be seen again.
But it's going to be that fucking clip from yesterday where Rob said, you're going to be John Lennon, and I'm going to be the guy meeting John Lennon. You're alive. I'm alive. Or the clip, the fucking football player. You're alive.
Yeah, the Ian Wright when he sees his teacher for the first time in 20 years. Oh, I thought you were dead. He takes the hat off and everything.
Someone said you were dead. Ash.
Like I said, I still don't understand how, but that tweet absolutely banged. It was just ridiculous. Me, just one tweet, Pat fucking Butcher, and then the Ian Wright clip of him taking the hat off. I thought you were dead. It's fucking. And then Pat, but just smiling, just warmed everybody's heart.
However, that isn't the full picture. There's also the value of the surgery as a business. At the time, the value would largely come from goodwill and assets, essentially what an incoming GP would pay to take over the patients and practice from an outgoing GP. At the time, that goodwill payment and assets in the surgery would have been worth around 10,000 to 15,000. Fucking hell. That brings Dr. Legg's property and business assets to roughly 120,000 in 1985. Which is an equivalent of how much London flat costs in 2026, which is £375,125. And that's before we add his yearly income or the rent that he receives from the 2 flats above the surgery. Now, in terms of earnings, the net income for a GP in the UK in 1985, after taxes and expenses, were approximately £25,254. However, as Dr. Legg is a senior GP with a long-standing practice in Walford dating back to 1947, it's fair to assume he may earn slightly above the average. So I'm going to estimate his income at around $27,500 per year, which is the equivalent of roughly 85,966 today. So it's fair to say he was quite financially comfortable. Lastly, we have the...
That's how much money we get from when all of Luke's super chats come in at once. That I fucking wish.
Lastly, we have the income he receives from rent. This is interesting because the older tenants, such as Ethel, would have been protected by fair rent tenancy laws, and as she had lived in the flat since 1929, likely she benefited from those protections. Official data suggests the average fair rent tenancy was around £17.44 or pence. But given Ethel's long-standing tenancy and friendship with Dr. Legg, it's reasonable to assume he charged just slightly less. I estimate around £15 per week. Fucking hell, you can't get rent that cheap nowadays. Though it could even be lower. For context, £15 per week in 1985 is roughly £47 per week today, or under £200 per month, around £625 today. Fuck you, Ethel, for raising the prices. Fuck you. Fuck you.
I mean, Ethel wasn't the one who fucking raised inflation. You know what I mean?
It was Thatcher.
Can't blame her for all the problems.
We blame Thatcher. Lofty,
True.
however, is a newer tenant, having moved into 1C in 1981, so he wouldn't have had the same protections as Ethel. At the time, a furnished flat might cost around £25 to £35 per week, though rents in East London were slightly higher. However, given that Dr. Legg doesn't appear to be in desperate need of money and seems to have a friendly relationship with Lofty, I'm going to estimate he charged £20 per week, slightly below the market rate, as £20 per week would be equivalent to about £62.50 today, or roughly £250 per month, around £782 today.
If we even take the perspective of the fact that Dr. Legg was pretty fucking wealthy, and the fact that when he died, he left his estate to Dot, which was a fucking beautiful bit in Ireland. He wasn't exactly gasping for the next bit of rent money. You know what I mean?
So finally, with the value of his properties and the surgery as a business, Dr. Legg's assets would come to approximately £120,000 in 1985. Alongside this, his yearly income of around £27,500 was already well above the national average salary at the time, which was £6,867. If you add this yearly income to his assets, that means he is worth roughly £147,500 before we even include the rent he receives, which is approximately £780 per year from Ethel and £1,440 from Lofty. That brings Dr. Legg's combined net worth, including assets, income, and rental, to approximately £149,320 in 1985, which is equivalent to roughly £466,781 today, and that's without factoring in other assets.
Easy fucking peeps, man.
And that's without factoring.
It's outrageous. He's making a mint on everyone.
And that's without factoring in other assets such as his car, possessions, saving, or money in the bank, not the pay-per-view, which are much harder.
Go on, hack into his bank account. Go on. We need to know the proof.
Which are much harder to quantify. So realistically, his true wealth was probably even higher. So based on this estimate, Dr. Legg's network in 1995 sits around 149,320, roughly 466 and 781. Today, placing him comfortably above the top 1% of UK residents in terms of wealth at the time. But to his credit, he never comes across like a wealthy ponce. He's grounded, thoughtful, and clearly hasn't allowed wealth to corrupt him. unlike someone like Den, who views wealth as power and status, and Dr. Lake represents the opposite. A man who has done well for himself still remains one of the most decent and quietly important members of the Walford community.
We're just leaning to slightly lefty politics there. Yeah, money hasn't corrupted him, has he? Obviously, I understand. I'm just taking the piss, but
In response,
so what I'm learning is that Luke says, "Eat the rich and make them pay." That's a joke.
And in response to Ash and Piggy going through
I suppose also just to actually polish that, cool little breakdown. I won't lie, probably don't need a lot more of these. I won't lie. Hey, it's helping Piggy with numbers. Piggy's numbers fucking upgraded tenfold, but I think we can safely end the saga of finding out the wealth disparity of members in Walford now. I do appreciate them; they are cool, but yeah, probably don't need them from this point onwards, unless something really intriguing kind of crops up.
In response to Ash and Piggy going through the comment I made about the titles the episodes were given, I have to wholeheartedly agree that episode 5 is by far the best title today. I think they may struggle to find a title that beats Roof Waffin and Lofty. For anyone wondering why episodes 7 and 8 were titled, episode 7, A Perfect Sunday, episode 8, Bentley Russes. So episode 5 still remains the best. Ruses. So episode 5 still remains the best title so far. And now, that's all the comments except for one. So we have some questions. Number 1. Some questions or talking points for the next episode. Do you feel like Tony Carpenter breaks soap stereotypes?
Fundamentally, yes. I was talking about this earlier, right? Where I feel like Tony manages to. Take what Nick said about him, and he said the comments about the black economy and how it was at this point in time. Tony does everything to beat I'm going to use some beat the allegations, right? He is a honest, just man who is happy to pay above board and isn't going through any underhanded stuff. Tony wants everything to be legit, legal, and honest. And if he doesn't, he's not going to do it. So I guess at this point in time, it does a good job, because we even think ahead forward when they had Paul Truman, right? Where the actor said, "Why am I a dealer though?" Not really beating the stereotypes here. I feel like Tony fundamentally, he has a much harsher edge, but that's just because he's probably used to the amount of little bits of subtle and just genuine racism towards him. So it's why I think the interactions with him and Calvin are so interesting, because Tony is only ever really particularly annoyed when Calvin does something that may actually fuck him over. Where it's like, why would you do this? It's basically you're giving someone ammunition to hate you because of your skin color or because of your background. So by doing that, you're kind of like opening up the weakness. And I think that's the interesting part. And that's what makes Tony so, to me, Tony's a really strong character. And that, I think, really helps 1985 feel a lot more kind of valid and interesting, because look, Tony doesn't give a fuck. And you see him where he's battling with Terry Rich, he's battling with the police. I think that makes him way more interesting, because he understands who he is, what his background, and how people view him. And despite all that, he doesn't let it affect him and still does what he believes is right and just. So I do think he breaks soap stereotypes.
Yeah. Continuing on, next question. Are you surprised that so many of these original characters or families didn't have longer runs on the show?
You don't actually read Luke's kind of appeal to the Tony Carpenter one.
To me, his style and warmth feel very progressive for the time, especially when most male figures in the show are much harsher and much more authoritarian. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's something I've noticed and thought was interesting.
Yeah, much the same, right? Where I think it's refreshing. It is refreshing for the time period to have such a strong black character as such, to fully stand for what he believes in and not falling into any stereotypes, and just is, I don't know, I feel like Tony's quite complete as a whole, and I think that makes the character so much more kind of engaging and intriguing, because you kind of, you know where you stand with Tony, and Tony will consistently tell you what he believes, and that to me is refreshing, because it's not like he's been, I mean, you take these characters, right, and you could say some characters would be like kind of broken down by the society around him, but Tony still remains true to himself, and that's important.
Yeah. So question 2. Are you surprised that so many of these original characters or families didn't have longer runs on the show outside of the Beale, Fowlers, and the Watts families?
No, but simply because I think Julia and Tony had quite a fairly narrow window as to what they wanted them to do. And because of that, I think that a lot of them served their purpose, and then they were kind of recycled or redone. And that's why, like, and equally, I think a lot of the cast were very apprehensive about going into the 90s and seeing what the show was going to look like. And I'd imagine when they got the news that Julia and Tony were stepping down, a lot of them did kind of run for the fucking hills and go, ooh, I don't really know how we're going to be in the 90s. And I mean, the next producer was Ian Hislop, who fucking wanted to destroy everything. So, Mike Gibbons and I think it's Mike Gibbons. Mike Gibbons wanted to destroy everything. So, I think a lot of them were justified, but I'm not surprised a lot of characters didn't stick around, because the same way where Emmerdale had to have the plane crash to fully repurpose it as a proper true soap, I think the EastEnders had to advance into the 90s in order to become something greater than what it was. Because, yes, you do like the very humble beginnings of EastEnders, but fundamentally, it had to become a little bit more extreme and exaggerated just to coexist in the 90s and in a world that was, it was opening up, it was widening up. So when there's 6 channels on the TV, you watch EastEnders, yes, but when there's a lot more to see and a lot more to do, then you kind of go, is this necessarily going on at whatever time it was each day?
Yeah. Sorry, I don't have anything to add to this. You hit it over the head. Following from question 2, you could have kept another original family character around for longer. Who or which family would you choose? Lou.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think I would have, basically, I would have sat down. I know it seems a bit extreme and it's probably a little bit weird now, but honestly, I would have sat down the biggest heads and essentially said, look, it's probably going to be a little bit different than how it was in the 80s, but fundamentally, we want you guys still being here. So you give it to Lou Beale, you give it to Ethel, then you give it to like Pete, Arthur, Pauline, these characters who are the bedrock of this era of the show, and you say, look, yeah, we are going to. Obviously, it takes a lot of forward thinking, and not many people can kind of, but they probably weren't thinking this far ahead. But you essentially go, look, you guys are the foundation, but we are going to bring in Phil Mitchell and Grant Mitchell. They're going to be the hard men. We're going to bring in Frank Butcher. So you do have to essentially say, look, it may not be the exact same as it was in the 80s. We're probably going to lean in a bit more to the crime-centric view, but fundamentally, we want you characters here to propel us into the future, and whilst we build up the next generations that are going to continue beyond far after you're gone. I think that's what you do. But yeah, Lou, Beale, just the Beales Fowlers for me, I think they're such an important piece of the puzzle. And I mean, as the 90s suggest, I mean, once Michelle leaves, it fucking goes all downhill, really. So it's just an unfortunate time period for them. And it's, like I said, I'm so glad that at least Ian, because Ian's not going to leave for a long extended period of time. So I'm glad that Ian is still there, but especially considering how both, that's my least favorite bit about this kind of current version of the show, where the Fowlers and the Beals are so fucking depleted, with so many of them having been killed off for storylines, that it leaves them in such an unfortunate position where some people will say who are the most iconic families on the show, and people will say the Mitchells or the Brannans or the Slaters, but like, you know, you can't not respect the Beals and the Fowlers in that conversation, even if it's been a long time between drinks as to when their characters were the most popular. So it's just that unfortunate kind of thing where EastEnders moved on beyond, but I still think if I had the choice, I would continue to make that family such a huge sticking point of the 90s and beyond.
Yeah, I agree. Number 4, we only have one more question after this, sorry. How historically important do you feel, just to make sure my microphone isn't good out, do you feel the Carpenters are in hindsight, considering they're not only the first black family introduced in EastEnders, but also one of the first black families to appear regularly in a British soap?
I think it is important fundamentally. I think that, I mean, look, I will constantly I'd probably over egg Tony and Kelvin a little bit too much, as Luke kind of maintained doesn't really understand Kelvin that much. I still think they're very important to me, and they're very important to the show because it shows that it's not worried, and even even Neymar and Saeed, right? And even like Ali and Sue as well, to embrace, it's going to sound a bit outrageous, but to embrace having both people from London in this character and having people who have either immigrated or been in London all their life, but, different characters from different backgrounds. I think it's very important to tell. It's the annoying fact that the Carpenters didn't really last because Tony was a very big character until his wife got introduced, and then he kind of fell to the wayside. Same with Kelvin. Kelvin, yes, was raised by the Mark Fowler exit, but all in all, kind of he stuck around for longer than I expected, but I think he was just a victim of the kind of changing tides where they introduced the Mitchells and wanted that sort of direction and went more to affairs and crime and stuff. So I think a lot of these characters through the 80s, they did fall through the wayside and kind of didn't really reflect. But I don't know. It kind of became sink or swim for a lot of these characters, and unfortunately, Tony and Kelvin didn't really stick the landing too much. Like, I think Kelvin, I don't remember entirely when, but I think Kelvin's still around till what? I'm going to make the bold suggestion that he's around till at least 93, 94-ish. No, never mind. He's got an 87. Never mind. I'm being an idiot. Who the fuck knows then? Who the fuck knows? Maybe it's just a simple fact that maybe it's just the fact that during this time period that Julia and Tony didn't really want anybody else to have their characters. And that kind of showed where, Mary leaves, Tony leaves, Den, Angie, Lofty leave. Like, a lot of the characters introduced in the 80s kind of leave before they can get ruined by new writers. So, yeah, I was operating on fucking false pretenses. I thought he lasted way longer, unfortunately.
And finally, one last question.
I suppose for the final piece of the puzzle, though, I do think it's very important. And look, I find Tony to be a really compelling character, even if he doesn't really achieve much in the show. But I do think that having him be such a focal point and him being so, like, ironed out, not really leaning into any of the stereotypes, that to me is important, and that is good representation.
Yeah. Sorry, my energy has depleted a little bit. I am hungry. But we only have one more question and then one more segment, and then we will look off. And that is the final question. Do you think the Vic would still have become the true heartbeat of the show even if viewers hadn't connected with Den and Angie?
I think yes. Fundamentally. There's no surprise that Dan and Angie were two of the most competent actors in the show, and two actors with the strongest legacy. I do agree that I don't know if the Vic would have been truly loved if it had not been such a focus, because that's what kept Angie and Den together. It was running the Vic, and it was being the people at the front and center. So I think that positioning desperately helped them. But I do agree, if it hadn't have worked, I mean, you even see it during time, right? Where during the 80s, I feel like the laundrette is a fucking way bigger part of the puzzle. And because of Pauline and Dot being there, it really does make it feel like a kind of inviting place. And I mean, even especially in recent times, only in the last couple of years after Dot's exit did it actually become way more important now, with Yolande being there and Yolande playing such a bigger part in a lot of the current storylines, with her own storylines in itself, with Nigel's storyline. So I definitely think it comes and goes with a time period, but there are definitely the places that get raised by the kind of popular characters that revolve around them. Like the garage, for example. When Phil Mitchell comes with the Archers, that becomes a big piece of the puzzle because Phil Mitchell is huge. But in its own way, kind of like with Angie's Den, right? With that club, with Sharon having the club, that makes the club a whole lot more of an enticing prospect. So I think it comes and goes in waves, and a lot of the kind of backgrounds and a lot of the setup still reigns true to this day. So yes, without Angie and Den, I don't think the Vic would have been nearly as popular, but it's equally as possible that within, let's say they change the owners. I mean, in the 90s, Frank Butcher takes over. So fucking there you go, Frank and Pat running the Vic. Like then suddenly the Vic becomes more important. Say if Angie and Den hadn't have worked as well. So it it's ebbs and flows. But I think even if Dead and Angie hadn't have captivated the audience, which they did, I still think like Frank Butcher and Pat fucking absolutely, like, without a doubt.
And now it's time for the final segment, the membership shout out. So let me just fuck's sake, gotta refresh it. Oh, are we here? We are here. All right, we're here. So, everyone's here, right? So in the fans, we have Luca X6, X2, X6. We have Stephen Griffiths, 4894, and Ollie Kingston 7530. Now in the watchers, we have the Rivets, ST Cricket Fan, Sobriety and Solace, Luke the Ultimate Hovian, and Dizzy Flora. They rejoined one day ago, so you don't complain to me.
They did. After all the bullying. After all the bullying, they're back.
And Luca rejoined 28 days ago. But yes, I must thank you. That's on us.
I mean, it's a fun time to just say that we have more watchers than fans, which obviously means some of that. So, no, but once again, as we always say, we do appreciate all the members, and you know, even we do hope that at least all the extra content that we give early does actually feel worth it, because at the end of the day, you guys have decided to pledge your money to us in hope that you get something back, and we do hope that you do actually get back what you want. So all in all, thank you to all the members once again. We do appreciate you fully, and yeah, I don't know, like fundamentally, I just appreciate everybody who pledges their time and their support to us. Even if you don't give us money specifically, but just commenting on the shows or liking the videos, I think fundamentally that just leaves us with such a... I'm going to use this fucking anecdote that I say every time, but once again, I always do love to see... I'd love to see when we release videos for members only and see the members respond, because that means to us that we still have people who want to be here and they aren't like watching out of obligation. It's like, oh shit, the new video's out. That to me is the coolest part. But I also just want to thank everybody who is watching the classic podcast and is watching the reactions, because I don't know, it came out of nowhere, but we've now been doing it for a month. So it's been a very fun time. And as always, if you do want to have your thoughts read out in the videos, keep on talking and making comments on the classic podcast. Yeah, sure, it may feel a little bit Luke the Ultimate Whovian centric now, but if people have thoughts and they want to share it down below, and you will also be featured as heavily. So yeah.
And I do want to say thank you for watching. We will see you in the next one. Let me flip my glasses around. We will see you in the next one. Want to show off your glasses one more time, Ash?
They're hidden somewhere.
Okay. But we'll show you. We'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Bye bye.